Hello, welcome to the Go Grab That Day podcast. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're all enjoying the video so far. Please, I can't say it enough, keep liking and sharing and subscribing to the channel. As always, really trying to push and trying to learn how to speak, but trying to push the numbers up as high as possible. They are thankfully climbing all the time, but we're just trying to get a big push on them as much as possible. So please keep liking, sharing, subscribing as much as you can. Anyway, back to today. I am super happy to announce this guest coming on this episode is none other than Mr. Carlton Leach. Very quickly, for those that don't know, Carlton Leach is obviously known mostly for being a super notorious gangster back in the day in England. With the movie Rise of the Footsoldier was based on him. But outside of that, I was super happy to be able to have Carlton on the podcast, and I was so excited when I heard he was coming on. But even happier after having spoken to him, because it was one of my favourite podcasts so far. He's such a nice guy, such a fun character, and you'll see with the interview we had a lot of fun over and back talking, and if I could have kept him on for hours I would have, and he probably would have stayed on for hours too at the same time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, and please give it a share, give it a like, and get people to subscribe so I can get more fun guests like this guy on. But I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I hope you guys do too. Enjoy. Hey brother, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Nice to see you.
Likewise. You can hear me all right and all that, yeah?
Oh, you're speaking in Irish?
No, I'm speaking English, believe it or not. I'll slow it down for you if needs be.
You see me all right?
Yeah,
it's all phone on silent.
Yeah,
hello, mate. How's the weather out there?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's always pretty good out here, to be fair.
Yeah, it's quite nice here. But in Spain, we've had really good weather here.
What part?
Almeria. It's quite sunny. Look.
Oh yeah. Can't beat a bit of sun. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, let me just check the volumes up and everything.
Take your time.
Bear with me. So, hold on, we're all... how's that? Can you see me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you perfect.
Oh, yeah, see, I can hear you now. She had it turned down. All right. How's that?
Yeah, it's all good. I can see you sweet there, yeah.
Hello, mate.
All good.
Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. It's an honor to be speaking to you. I can't believe I'm actually speaking to you. It's pretty cool. But
that's all.
Yeah, it's just listen. Like I said to you, we had our phone call. I have no script whatsoever here. We're going to talk freely. I have no interest in running off a script, so. I suppose if you don't mind introducing yourself for starters, however you want to introduce yourself, it's up to you.
Right. Stop laughing. I'll be all serious. We'll get your scripts out. Hello, everyone. My name's Carlton Leach. I'm famed for the film Rise of the Footsoldier, about my life, and obviously books from Muscle to Rise of the Footsoldier, the book, and documentaries and rah.
Yeah.
Notorious.
Yeah. Well, the first question I wanted to ask you is, rather than going through every part of your life, because I'm sure you're sick of talking about it at the same time, what's a day in the life of Carlton Leach now?
Well, I spend pretty much, I've been since, but obviously we're out of Brexit now, so things have changed. So I haven't got a residency, but I don't think I'll be doing that. But I normally spend sort of like between 6 to 8 months of the year in Spain, and then I'll go back to England and see like my family and kids and everything, my grandchildren. So yeah, so pretty much, well, we're in full lockdown. We're a coastal village, and the province we're in, but the whole time we've been out here just over 4 months now, and we've been in lockdown. We've only got like 2 little supermarkets. It's right on the coast. It's a Spanish resort, and it's a nightmare. So we have to sneak out through the mountains to get to a supermarket to get the stuff we want. Yeah, it's a €600 fine you get called.
Oh shit, man!
But when we were in our normal sort of thing, we get up early in the mornings. We walk. We pretty much leave about 6:30 when it's dark. So we watch the old sunset on the beach, and they got like gymnasium machines on the beach. We have a little train. We come back and work out and everything. And normally we go out for coffee, sit on Chiringuitos and just chill, really.
You just living the high life, Carlton, living the high life.
Yeah, well, I'm 62 now, so no more running around and chasing people. My legs won't do it anymore.
You've had enough of that anyway, I'm sure. Listen,
Yeah.
you know when the I remember when that movie was released. Obviously, we have to talk about that. But I remember you had a big say in the movie. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, massive, yeah. Because obviously, originally my original book was Muscle, was like an autobiography, as such as the publishers will let me speak. They basically went, no, we don't want that in it, we don't want that. So basically, it makes it look like you spend every day getting up, having a fight, having a bit of gear, going to a strip club, going to a football match, torturing someone, and then go to bed.
Yeah.
No, I'm exaggerating, but that's the sort of thing they were interested in. Just not interested in really your life as such, the man behind it, and the reasons why you do what you do. But so do you want me to carry on telling about the film coming about?
Yeah, please speak away.
Well, there was a fella called his name was Terry Turbo, but he's now Terry Stone, who played Tony Tucker. Well, I was associated friends, and I was doing security at Ascot, the race days. Me and my foster brother was doing security there, and he came down one of the restaurants we were looking after, and I had a copy of the book, hardback, in the back of the car, and I had one left, and he said, I was talking about the book, and I done him a signed copy, and then a few months later, he contacted me, and he said, I spoke to a film company, we're getting a film, he said, they're interested in making a film about the book. And I went, oh, yeah. And I thought, I've heard so many people have tried to have films made about their lives. It took years to come ahead. People talk about it, you get the scripts. Right? Anyway, we steamed into it and got a couple of good brothers, Julian and his brother, the Gilbys. They met up with them. They were directing and writing the film. They loved it. They wrote the script. But basically, they come to my house, we sit, give me a script. I mean, the first script was like that. It was, might have been 1,000 pages, but you have to whittle it down, and I have to read it. And then we got to they was happy and I was happiest. But don't forget, they exaggerate stuff in the film and change names and different things because it's got to be a blockbuster. It's got to be going, it's coming out. I had to go along with that, which I understand. It's based on like true facts. It's not the actual true story. I get it. I've been a film buff myself. So I just said, all right, went along. We was happy with all that. Agreed a deal with them, and then they got the budget together, which at the time I think the total price of the film it was 1.4 million. Now we're talking. Well, that was just about 15 years ago plus, maybe. I can't remember now how long it is. I think it came out in 2007. I'm not sure.
I think it was 2007.
Which was, for a British film, that was a big budget.
Mm.
Like, it allowed us to the soundtrack because, royalties and decent actors and everything. And we decided with Terry said he wanted to play Tony, so I said, yeah, play Tony, and I sort of told him about Tony's life, about Pat and how they were and everything, because obviously actors need to know that and do a bit of groundwork. And then we said, like, who's going to play her? So Junior said, well, I found an actor from 28 Days Later. His name's Ricky Arnott. He played this sergeant in a Nutty Sergeant. He said, he's right lively and he's right up for playing you and everything. And I went, yeah, that'd be blinding. I said, he said, we'll arrange a meet for you and tell me what you think and everything. So I spoke to him on the phone a couple of times and he had like that Cockney accent and he seemed all right. And I'd never met him before. Because obviously when you see people in another film, they always look bigger and taller. So, not that I'm tall, but I'm 5'9", and I was thinking, yep. So I arranged to pick him up at Minster Station and I sat in the pub across the road with parked the car up anyway. And I think I was with one of my pals. I might have been on my own. I can't really remember. It was so long ago. Anyway, he said, I'm at the station. I've just come out. So I walked out. I see him. He had like them sort of flat caps like a student he wears. He had glasses on. He had the old bag on him, the man bag, and he looked like a Marxist. You know, like how they dress like that.
Yeah,
I thought, I looked at him and he's a bit shorter, man. I thought, fuck me, he ain't gonna play me. I thought like, and I just felt like I could give him a chance, you know. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, we had a chat. We went down the pub in Upminster. Arranged for a few of the boys to be in there, so we could get me like have a couple of drinks and that, like soften the blow for him. I think from there where did we go? I think we went back to my place, and the missus who I was with then, he met her. No, he didn't meet. No, he didn't meet her. Sorry, she weren't there. She was out, and she had to work that evening. And she was a dancer at a club, Cats in Basden. So anyway, we're out and we took him out on a few more drinks and everything, a bit of food and that. I think we had some food, or some sort of food. Anyway,
soaking up the alcohol.
Then I arranged to meet a few more people. Like I said, we sat down in the club because I wanted him to get the life sort of like a bit of the atmosphere straight away.
Mm-hmm.
People, places I go, because like Cats was like, if I finished work, I would go down there afterwards to socialise. And the Phil who was running it was an old friend of mine, and I just go in there and just have a drink. Really, it was like a late drink. And so I thought, well, that's the best place to take him, isn't it? I've got a couple of boys down there, and they're all like 20-odd stoners, like monsters, you know what I mean? One was well, he's died now, obviously, so. And he was there, and there was some big lumps there anyway. He was like, fucking hell, like, you know, we're chatting. But as I was talking to him, sorry to get back to it, he came across right, and he looked enthusiastic. And I thought, do you know what, really? And I've seen 28 days later and a couple of other things he showed me. He told me to look at a bit of clips and that. And I thought, if he's got the enthusiasm to do it and he plays me right and he represents me right, I'll be happy with that, you know? Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, you can't like sort of look at, how can you say, judge a book by its cover, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
I get you.
We're getting the old Alzheimer's, you know, don't tell me the drug. Anyway, so we was there with him anyway. He was in the club and he was like proper in awe of everything was going on. Do you know what I mean? And then like the missus I was with then, she's 5'7", so she had the dancer shoes on, and she's like 6'4" with them on, and she looked like a fucking one of them Amazons, you know, like you see in the film. And she's come over, and I went, oh yeah, this is Mrs. And I introduced him at the bar. Oh, so she's having a go at me. I'm telling about my life. No. Anyway, so what happened? She was at the bar. They come in and he went like that. He couldn't believe it. Anyway, long story short of the matter and everything, we had a few drinks in there and everything. We went from there back to mine. I said, look, you're pissed up. I said, stay at mine. So I got him on the city. I was doing some cocktails and everything. Like, we had a few more drinks. And I think it was about, I think we got to sleep about five in the morning by the time we got to sleep and everything. And I said, like, do you want to come on a bit of work with us tomorrow? He went, what? I said, I've got to go on a meet at McDonald's, a couple of boys, and pick up some money and meet these Indians or they had a problem and everything, and they got to pay up. And he went like that. He went, oh, all right, yeah, of course. It's like, you know, I can see what you're doing. So I'm up and breathe. I went, come on, Rick, up you get. And it was like, McDonald's, like, he had about 2 hours seat, and we're sitting in McDonald's, and I said, what do you want, a coffee, a bit of breakfast? He's going, oh, I couldn't have a breakfast. I went, no. I said, you need to. And he's sitting there with his coffee, like, it's like half asleep. They've come in and all that. We're chatting away. And so he didn't even realise what was going on. It was like backwards and forwards. I think an envelope was passed. I went, like, lovely, go on, mate. And there was like 10 grand in it. And he went, what the fuck happened there? I said, well, just doing a bit of work. And he went, oh, right. Yeah. He went, what there's 10 grand in the envelope? I went, yeah, loving that. I didn't look. Anyway, he said, I've got to, anyway, so I dropped him back to the station, and I thought, yeah, give it a go. I liked him, and we got on really well, and he was very enthusiastic. So what we did, ranged, he come up and we trained together. I took him to the gym where I trained and a bit, and he's a vegetarian, right? He don't eat meat. So because I said to him, like, you got to bulk up. He wants to, and I wanted him to train me, see how I train. So if there was scenes in the gym, he knew how I trained and everything. and I was, I think I was about 16 on stone. Like, obviously, I was doing a bit of steroids and stuff. And then I went to him. Well, do you want me to get you some stuff to bulk me up? Well, I won't tell him. So I took him to my mates. It's got a fitment shop, like a bodybuilding shop, and I got him all these big powders and weight gains and everything. And he come up a few times, but this went on for about 9 months before the film. And I didn't realise until obviously like the filming there, and he was picking up, watching my mannerisms, how I talk, and the way I trained and everything, and all that came out in the film. So getting back to picking him, he was like, I was quite pleased. And when we see the showing in London, like with just the screen showing, there was me, him, in Soho it was, and the actors, directors, and a couple of people from Carnaby, and we're all sitting there. It was about 20 of us, and it was the first time I'd seen the film, and that was quite a bit daunting, you know what I mean? To actually see me. Obviously, I had a few camera, but see someone playing me on screen, it felt really strange because obviously that's never happened before. And I sat there, and he was sitting next to me, and it was like over 2 hours long, and I'm looking, and I thought, if I shut my eyes, it sounded like me, it's the way he was talking.
Yeah.
And then the mannerisms, and it quite freaked me out because I just thought he's actually been like really like gone into character and studied me. So yeah, so it was a good choice, and I'm really glad. And we're still friends now, and you know, we want to do other projects together as time goes on. And yeah, so it was a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd imagine, I didn't know he got so into the deep end with you guys in the first couple of days, but I remember that shortly after that, first day, that's why I find it crazy.
Yeah, he went home 2 days later.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do, though, because you got to see you guys as you would be on a normal day.
What I thought, because he's only probably seen and heard stuff or read the book or whatever, and at the end of the day, if he's going to play me, what's my best thing? It's just like not even like this is what I wanted to do. I just wanted to shock him straight away. Go, bang! This is who I am.
Yeah,
this is what I do, and that's what I did.
Yeah, because me, like,
you know what? I'll give this one to you, Wes. Sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're all right.
But that's the first time I've done a few podcast interviews, but that's the first time really I've done this on the podcast, talk about that scenario. So that's quite good, because I get a bit, you know what it is, you get a bit sort of like, you do a few podcasts and people say the same things, and I think, oh yeah, and I say the same stories, and then I watch a couple of them and I think, oh, it's the same thing. It's like a bit repetitive, but that's what I like. Yeah, it's the off the cuff stuff.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm trying to do with anybody I have on. Like, I'm a big mixed martial arts fan. I've had a lot of fighters on and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
I do my best to not have any script, because I know, like yourself, the questions get so repetitive that you don't even want to do it anymore. So I try and just have a normal conversation. Now, obviously, I'm still going to talk to you about the same things, but maybe in a different way. If that makes sense. Rather than a script, you know. But
it's just, I mean, when I do like this, you know, I don't think about anything or what I'm going to do. I'll just say the topical things going on at the time, like, and I'll take like when Jimmy Savile was about, so I was doing all Jimmy Savile jokes, and I just pick someone in the audience wherever I am, and then I just sort of like go with the crowd. I feel the people in there, and if they're responsive to me, I'll have the crack with them, or if they're very serious. See, sometimes you sit there and the old crowd, everyone got questions flying at you, or you'll have like 50 people and they're looking at you like it all depends where you are in the country or where part. It's just really weird, but
exactly. Like,
so
if I'm being honest, I did not think you would be so approachable and so easy to talk to. Obviously, you've got a form of a rep, but when you called me on the phone the last day, it put me at ease, because I was like, "Fuck it, you're a super easy guy to talk to," you know.
A lot of people think that you know, when you only hear about the books and everything else. What it was basically my life. I chose my life, the underworld. Hypothetically, I went in to say that to get money. So like my wife at the time, the kids and people were like, they wouldn't want for nothing, and you know the money drew me into it, and obviously. I'm like a street fighter. I've done martial arts when I was, full contact karate and everything when I was younger, and all sports and everything. And I did like a row, especially because of the football days with West Ham living. So And I thought, if I can have a row, but like boxer, perhaps I might be able to earn a few quid out of it. And that's my mentality. It wasn't to be a hard man. And people say, you're a gangster. I'm not a gangster. Look, and if people say I'm a hard man, I'll take that as a compliment, but all for the right reasons. Do you know what I mean? And you do get mixed up in some shit. And I have done some things I regret. Probably may have hurt people that didn't need me to hurt, but I didn't realise at the time. You know what I mean? Because there's two sides of everything you do in life. There's two sides. It's all black and white. And as I've got older, I've learned to analyse that.
Well, that's
but no. I like to be and get on with people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, I have seen your movie quite a few times. I have brothers back home who love the movie as well. And me and my missus is from Brazil, and she watched it for the first time the last day. She was like, "Oh my God, this is the guy you're going to have on." And I said, "Yes." I said, because for exactly what you just said. I said, at the end of the day, the movies show the cool side of it, but you're still human. So I want to hear you're an interesting character. You know what I mean? So it's always good to hear from the person as well, without just looking at the movie side of it,
And I don't do a lot of podcasts, to be totally honest with you. And the reason being is you can become very repetitive and you can sell yourself short. And the reason I speak to you, I'm quite good because I have to analyse people. That's how I survive human nature. Like who I've wrapped around me and people, and I can tell, I pick the phone up. And then I know how my day's going to go with someone,
Mm-hmm.
And I picked it up and he was like, bang on. And if I wasn't comfortable, I'd have just said, look, sorry, mate, you ain't my cup of tea. I don't think I'll do it. And I'm quite fussy like that. But then I think that makes the podcast more watchable.
Yeah.
For people.
I totally agree,
people do, like one off one other to be in the limelight. I'm not like that. I just have to, I like to be comfortable, get on with the person I'm talking with, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the sort of person, if after this podcast, I'll say, like, if you drop me a line, I'll meet up and have a beer with you. I said to you, if I go to one, that's the way I am. I'll make a friendship out of it because I like people. It's nice to be liked as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And appreciate. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to hold you. You said on the phone the last time when you're in Ireland, we're going to have a beer. So I'm holding you to that. I haven't forgot that.
Proper drop of Irish Guinness.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, you got to get back to Ireland yet? You're sitting on that little island just outside the world.
I'm trying hard. Trust me. We're just waiting for the
COVID jabs.
That's it. Like, it's just we're saving money and we're hoping that we just can get out of here whenever we're trying to hit a certain level of finance, and then we're going to ship out because don't get me wrong, it's lovely over here, but there's no place like home.
No. When you got family as well, when you miss them, like I've got kids and grandchildren, and I really do miss them. So
yeah, that's it. It's all right being around the world and seeing all these nice sunny places, but it's not the same when you can't do it with people.
I bought this place with my mum and dad 18 years ago. It was just a holiday home, and I've passed away 3 years ago within 9 months of each other. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's life, isn't it? My dad died of dementia. My mum was very ill, like diabetic, and she died 9 months after my dad. But they're the things that people don't want to talk to you about. It's like they're not interested in that side of your life. What makes you tick? You're not allowed to. How can I say? Being Carlton Leach is, apart from with your family and close friends and mates and people who get to know you, you're not meant to be like any craps. You're not meant to shit here or be sad. You know what I mean? You've got to be that, stone-faced person sitting there like growling and looking mean. That's all bollocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing I wanted to say as well, again, I don't want to dive too much into you talking me through the entire movie. I kind of know how that works, but one thing I noticed, and this even before I ever thought I was going to speak to you, before I ever had a podcast, I remember watching the movie at one point, and obviously the ending is with the murders in the Jeep, but I always thought to myself, they're still mates of yours. It's a movie that was replayed over and over, and people are like, oh, it's tough. But I always wondered, like, that's gotta suck to see that. I don't imagine you watch the movie all the time, but it's still your life.
I think I've probably seen it 3 times.
Yeah,
I find it hard to watch.
And that's what I thought.
None of the stuff for me, the younger days with the football and all that, I'm quite comfortable. It's the second part I don't like. It's like 2 movies for me. first part is obviously about me. Then they go in really in depth and everything, and that was a lot of pressure for me on the set and when we was making the film. And I didn't feel comfortable a lot of times with what was going on, but you have to go with the flow. It's all part of it. The thing is, Tony was my best pal.
Yeah.
When we met, we were like, like he was our brother. We had away from all the light and what people see us. We were so close, and the conversations we had, and we just bounced off each other, and we both just laughed all the time. We just laughed. Like, I take the piss out of him with his birth because he had like longish hair, and he had the worst hairstyle in the fucking world, right? Yeah, but he'd wear machine all top of the hair, and he trained, and he was fit as fuck. And then it was his birthday, like that, and I used to call him Tony Machino, like that, instead of Tony Montana, Tony Machino. And then I started calling him Wiggy. And he went, "You can't." He went, "No one else can call me that." He said, "It's only you can get away with it." I go, "All right, Wiggy, calm down," because he was there. His birthday, we had a snooker, and I had loads of mates. We had all music there and everything. Anyway, it's turned up, so I got him a birthday present, and he got the ugly head thing, what you do, and I bought him a wig, and I cut it to the shape of his hair, and boxed it and wrapped it all up. I went, "Happy birthday," and he's standing there like there was Pat and Craig, everyone's there, and he's opened it up. And he just come out, he burst out laughing. He went, "You can't." He went, "Only you could get away with that."
Yeah. Well, these are the things.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the relationship. But people are not going to see that.
Yeah.
And sorry to interrupt, but the reason I get back to how hard it is to watch the film, the reason I made the film, I wanted to be honest and show that what he did was wrong and certain things. But that was separate to my friendship with him and my love for him. And I wanted to put him out there and try. But they wouldn't allow me to let him be a human being, a nice person. I think that's what I think. And that's why I still fight in his corner to keep him alive for the memory of my friendship with him and his family and that.
Yeah. That's obviously, I knew you were coming on when we watched the movie a couple of days ago, and that is the part that stuck with me the most. Was that ending? I was kind of like, it stuck with me a lot more than it has before, because obviously now I'm going to speak to you. So I was like,
yeah,
it's got to be, because I know even for other, let's say like the movie about the Cray brothers and stuff like that, there is a lot of deep parts there that you miss when you realize these still are humans. They're guys who, albeit you said yourself you've done bad things, but you had your reasoning behind it. We've all, like I can say, I've done some stupid things myself,
It's like there's stuff that people don't ask me, like, and I know because you want to go for a different angle. This is what I'm talking. It's like, I knew Tony's mum and dad. We had holiday in Malta, and they was out there at the same time. We went and met them, and they were lovely people, his mum and dad. And I remember we was back at the hotel, and we were talking, and he said, before we met him for a meal, he said to me, "Don't tell me mum and dad about anything we do." And he loved his mum and dad. They're lovely people, right? I went, what do you mean you don't tell me? He went, "Don't mention anything we do. Just like we do business, and we do a bit of door work, and we look after Nigel Ben, and we do this and do that." So like we're sitting there, and I thought, fucking, we'll have nothing to talk about. And I said to him, "This is a conversation I had, and you're the first of this interview that I've actually spoken about." And I said, we went back to the hotel, and we're just sitting there, like in the room, the four of us and all that, like, and we just, me and him were talking in the corner, chatting away. And I just said to him, I went, "Tone," I said, like, my dad, he's a good old boy, East End boy, I loved him, working class, but I said, never lied to him. I always told him what I got up to. And he went, "Yeah, but I don't want them to think that." I said, "They need to know, Tone." I said, because there could be a day something happens. Like my dad was always prepared for the worst, and I wanted him to. Like whatever come through the door of the knock, and that's why when the old Bill come, if they knock something his house, go looking for me, he'd go, "Nah, I've not seen him for a couple of weeks. Nah, I don't know where he is." And he covered my arse all the time, and he knew, and he was wise to it, But Tony's mum and dad weren't, and I said, "Really?" I said, "You're not doing yourself no favours and them no favours." And he went, yeah, but I can't. He said, I love mum, dad, and he spoilt them, and you still. So the reason I'm telling you that is when obviously Tony died, the next day, on that day, when they realised it was him and they put it out, they went. Look, the police went to. Yeah, the police went to his mum and dad's. I'm sure if I'm getting my facts right, because it's so long ago, and I get a bit blank. But they knocked at his door. His mum answered, and I think his dad answered. Said your son's been killed, like shot, dead, and his dad dropped down dead and died of a heart attack. So what I'm saying to you, 3 people died in a Range Rover on the 6th, and on the following day, another person died because of what went on. Yeah. A totally man, a lovely old boy, and now his mum has lost her son and her husband within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And when I see, like, when we obviously buried him, God bless his soul, that was like there to be seen, the way his mum. She tried to jump in the grave on top of the coffin. It was like, it was already, I was carrying the coffin. It was just absolutely screaming and crying. I just it was so hard to cope with. Do you know what I mean?
So at that point, they still didn't know what he did.
No, well, no, they never, not until it all come out. And all they heard was bad. Do you know what I mean?
There
was no good. They've been used to hearing, like the nice things, and Lee's mum had to deal with his past and everything that had gone on, and have that in her life as well. Horrendous.
Yeah, it's tough. That's the problem. There is, no matter what way you look at this, there's people. Like, again, these movies are great to watch and all that, but you still got to look at the little details you might miss of who gets hurt along the way, and maybe, again, why guys like you had to do that you did it for different reasons that people don't really know about, they don't see in the movies. And you kind of...
Even to the extent of my life, I was with another ex-Denny, not the one with Vicky, met another one, and we were 2 girls, and like, the neighbours and people around there never really knew who I was, and all of a sudden there's fucking police turning up, vans and undercover of old Bill, and they're watching me, obviously, like 24 CV going on, like all sorts of stuff. Anyway, so that's now happening, and I've got to live with that. And then I actually couldn't go out and work. Couldn't do a job because he was right on top of me, because it was so serious. I was fucked. I had no income. I mean, I didn't go to work, and I didn't have pay. I didn't have sick pay. I didn't have holiday pay. We lived from one day to the next. So for months, I had to basically be a bit of a recluse and stay in the house with the family, because it was just too much. You know what I mean? And everybody wanted to know what went on. Everybody was ringing me, and it was just like, just draining me.
Yeah. All the while you're dealing with the hardship of friends of yours and stuff like that. That's like I said, that's what people don't realize. In terms of your own life after the movie, like, how long were you kind of trying to get away from all of that stuff? Because I'm sure some of it must have carried along with you for a few years.
Yeah. Listen, there's no saying it's easier to get in the circle than ever walk away, and you don't ever walk away. Because if you think, like, it's not like a job where you're an engineer and when you come 64 you retire, get a gold watch, and you go off, get a little retirement place and everything. You're in a circle where you've made a reputation, where you've done things that don't go away.
Yeah.
Do you understand? More so, people like us, people do not forget what good you've done and what bad you've done. That's something you'll carry in there on your shoulders and sleep with, so you have to come to terms with everything you do in life. But you've got to be a certain sort of person. But I win people over because when they actually meet me and I speak to people, and the reason I travel on my own without a firm, I go all over the country, I go abroad, talk to people, is when they get to meet me, they think, they come up and go, oh, I didn't think you was going to be like that. I'm more of a comedian. I'd rather have a laugh and a crack with someone, and like I did with Tony, and that's what I say. I'm not there to terrorise people and stand on stage and look mean and wear a black suit and a black shirt and a black tie and black sunglasses. It's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what I mean? I just want to go. If I go on stage, I'll go on with just like a shirt, a pair of jeans, and that's me. I'm casual. That's the way I like to be. I'm not interested in the flash cars, the big houses. Listen. The money I got was to make my life better. Not my life better, because I had a good life anyway. I'm talking about my children, and if they needed something, if my parents, if I could help them, that's what I did.
Yeah.
It went to a good cause. My family's cause, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Well, still, you know what they say, charity starts at home. So
yeah,
that's who you got to look after. I mean, that's what we all want to do at the end of the day. We all like to be nice and spread it out as much as we can, but you got to look after your family first.
I'm one of the people. It's like, I don't care what anyone thinks about me, right? Because that's how I am. Like, I'm too hard with life to go on there. But if you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, well then don't fucking sit in the room with me. Don't buy a ticket and come and meet me. Just stay away from me. Listen, I've not asked you to be in my life. You've asked to come into my life and meet me. So that's what I'm saying is, if you like me, it's a bonus for all of us, isn't it? Because we'll all get on and we enjoy. But if you don't like me, just sit away from me. Or don't come and meet me. You've got no reason. But people have to have their little dig. You know what I mean? They feel, I don't know what it is, human nature.
I'll tell you, it's the same online. I'm new to this podcast world and stuff like that. Yeah. But already I'm getting people like that will watch my videos and then they got to say something afterwards. I'm like, why watch the video?
Yeah, but why not a little pat? Why not a little bit of thing and go, well, good luck to you?
Exactly.
I hope you're successful,
But that's it. It's a problem nowadays. I actually think it's a problem with people nowadays that negativity is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to put people down. Yeah, people down. They think it's clever, and they think they think they're more educated, and they could catch you out and do things like that. Well, put them in a fucking room with me and shut the door. They will be, would they?
That's for sure. They wouldn't go in that room. But that's it. It's the truth. It's people like
with you for 10 minutes. Oh,
that's it. And there's no need for it. Like it's just I don't get it. I don't like. For me, there's people. Don't get me wrong. There's people like there's musicians, there's comedians that I don't like, but I prefer to write to them supportive shit. There's no need to be negative. It doesn't do anything for me. And if you spend long enough being negative, you end up being in a bad mood yourself anyway, Of
course, yeah. Listen, we all have negative days, things get you down and everything. But you deal with that yourself, and you get angry with yourself. You don't take it out on someone. If you're fucking a shit fighter, don't go and meet fighters and people that can have a row and put them down. I think you're clever.
Exactly.
Because you're jealous.
Yeah, but that's it, and it's a problem with which I've noticed as well. It's people that are unhappy in their own lives that they want to shit on someone else. It's what makes them feel better, But you can't pay any heed. Listen, you know yourself that whether you're going to what in terms of these meets, are there meet and greets? Or are you actually doing stand-up comedy kind of things?
Well, not stand-up comedy. Yeah, I think I'm a comic. No,
you seem like a guy who could do it.
Appearances, big boxing events, like charity events. And I'm a great one for Help for the Heroes, the soldiers, and that youngsters. I met so many young 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds have come back with no legs and arms, and I've had, and it was Camp Bastion when I was in Afghanistan, and I was getting letters from soldiers' wives, dads. Would you write to my son? They'll sit around the camp of the night and they've got your book and they read your book and they're watching your video and all that. And they go, oh, you're an hero. And I go, well, I'm not really an hero to these boys. They're out there doing it for real. I said, like, they're my heroes. Yeah. And he went, like his dad, one particular 18-year-old kid, joined the army, and he was one of the best snipers. He was a natural. He'd had, by the time he was 18, he'd had 11 kills, right? 18 years of age. And he was one of the best in the unit, right? And he was being bullied, right? bullied. And I went, and I was in contact with his dad, and he said, would you do me a big favour? If you wrote to him and sent him a letter, and all the rest of the sub boys around there, they said you contacted me. He said, like, it like making me respect him more. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I thought that, do you know how sad that is? I think that's devastating. Like, there's this young boy, 18, and he's killed 11 people, like a sniper. And he's like the best shot in the unit and the platoon or whatever. And he's been bullied because he was young, taking the piss out of him and all that. And he can't handle that. Yeah, he's all right to, in his sight and got this skill and take it out like that. And I thought, and it was things like that. And people don't really know that side of me. And when you've got to write to kids and I've met like a couple of young women and they lost their husbands, and I've stopped the show and I've got the bucket and I've got like in the audience, like, and she's lost her husband, she's like in her 20s, got kids in that, and I've got a bucket out in the pubs and I've got man filled up with money and give all the money to her, and she burst out crying. She went, no one's done that for me. Like, that's who I am, but I don't want no credit for that. That's my choice. I'm happy to do that. You know what I mean? But when people go like, "Oh, you're this hero, you're this thing," and all that, no, there's real people out there, real heroes. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I've done my things, but I don't want people. That's what I'm trying to say. I try to be so genuine and honest. You know what I mean? But I want my kids to grow up like that.
Yeah, but at least to be fair, I understand it makes sense what you're saying. But to be fair, at least you're using your platform in a good way. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Whereas I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you definitely don't seem like someone who's living off the who you used to be, the gangster thing. You know, you're clearly trying to show people that there's another side to you, albeit you had that side. But it shows, I think, the movie and all that and the life you had, it shows you're human too, rather than like you see there's all these perfect celebrities out there who, you know, there's nothing. It's a fake lifestyle.
And they're probably the most unhappiest people with themselves and what's around them.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know, they're like, I call them fame hungry whores after them, because at the end of the day, they're permanently having their eyebrows done, Botox, having their hair done, and tanning and training 24 hours a day, and walking around like, you know, and think they're smooth as fuck. But they ain't got no personality. You couldn't do the crack.
Nah.
You know, like in my circles, my mates, we're all ugly as fuck. You know what I mean? But like, do have a laugh.
But that's it. Like, you know, that you're the kind of, you know, they're the kind of people. Like I said, you know, with this podcast, obviously it's nowhere near as big as I want it to be. But the kind of people I want to talk about are interesting people. You know, that will have the crack, as you said.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's some big names out there that will help me, but there's no point in me getting like a name any celebrity, like someone big on, if I can't speak to them or can't bounce off them, you know.
Yeah, but and I hope my podcast gives you a good platform, because you know you come across right, and don't change your scripts. I think do the off the cuff stuff. But obviously you've got to have the other person, the right person opposite you, to be able to do that. But I think that will bring a bit of fresh air to them. Do you know what I mean? I think they're all a bit.
You know what it's like. It's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? It's trial and error. You know, we're working on a lot of things there. I'm actually getting a mate of mine. He's from I can't remember now. He's from. I worked with him over here, but he's from somewhere in England, and we're going to do a podcast, the two of us, the Paddy and the Pommy podcast. So it'll be a bit of fun, you know, the two of us bouncing off each other and making fun of each other, having the crack, that kind of thing. But in terms, the other question I wanted to ask, I know you've probably got this question a million times, but I have to ask it anyway, is with your kids and obviously new people that come into your life and meet you, obviously the real nice guy and all that, what's it like to show them, you know, if they talk about the movie or they look at the movie, is it hard for you to kind of go, you know, even for your kids coming up when they saw that side of your life, is it hard for you to kind of show them that, or do you like to show them that to kind of see where you came from?
Well, it's like certain kids, like my grandson and my they've not been allowed to watch it until they're more mature.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's right that they should watch it and go, "Oh, Granddad's a gangster. Granddad's got a gun." And like that. That's what little kids are like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, my granddad's got a gun. He's a gangster, and like that, he shoots people. like, and that's what, and I've had it before because they found little things. Because kids are stupid. They go on YouTube, my younger grandchildren, and they see clips of me and stuff like that, and they come and they go, "Granddad gangster," like that, and I'm thinking like, but I'm quite lucky, like my two kids are very level-headed, like my family and all that, my daughters and sons, and they don't really talk about it.
Yeah,
they don't even like brag who their dad is and everything because they'd rather me be their dad than that person.
yeah.
So they come down and they won't sit and watch it like me, you know what I mean? But they know it's there and everything else, you know. But I'm quite lucky that the way they've gone about it, and I'm quite proud of the way they've gone about it because I wouldn't want them to be living the limelight off the back of that.
Well, I suppose that must be a credit to you because if they prefer to highlight the person you are now rather than who you are then, that says a lot about you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I've done it was because I love my children to give them nice things and safe and making their life safe. So I don't want them to then do the opposite and put themselves on offer for what I've done and make themselves unsafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there again, apologies if you've been asked this question a million times, but is there something out of, say, all the things that are portrayed in the movie and something like that, is there something that sticks out that you do regret, like that sticks with you that you kind of wish you could change?
The regrets. Oh, the stuff with the Turk scene when the boys they got involved with selling heroin and you know they was going to. Oh, it was so heavy duty, and I'd never been involved in something like that. And then they got this warehouse, and we had to drive to this place. It was like 2:00 in the morning, pitch black, a deserted warehouse. They had electricity and all that. And I remember going in there, and only me and one other person. I had to take the boys there. Like there was about 4. They was all looking for, but they had their addresses, pictures of their kids, their homes. They plotted up, and they were double. I mean, they're like a different world from what I'm talking about, next level world. And I'd never done anything like that before. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I mean, we're getting in the warehouse. We got there early, checked it all. It was all damp, and it had like electric. And there was this old office and chairs. And I'm thinking, and I had a gun on me, and I'm thinking like, they're going to come in, like the Turks, because then you know they're going to search you in there and everything. And I'm looking for somewhere where they're. And the only thing I could think was a towel, you know, the material towels for washing your hands. And I thought, well, I'll get the table and I stuck it in behind it. So I thought, I hope the fuckers don't wash their hands. We'll put that there. But I hid it in there. I thought, you know, they're threatening to kill. They've had proof, photos and stuff and everything that their family, and they threatened to kill them and to kidnap them and everything. And and then they all come in and everyone sat down and they went, we're going to do questioning and that. And I went like, no, I said like, I'll question them.
Yeah.
I said, what are you going to do? Well, they said in the film, it was injection. It was truth drug, a serum stuff. They had to take it, right?
Yeah.
They all had to take it at the same time. They all sit down and then they wanted to tie them to the chairs, which they did in the film. And I went like, no. I said, listen, they ain't going to run away. I've brought them here in the middle of the night. They're actually sitting here in front of you on their own will and agreed with the questions, right? If you're unhappy, then we talk and then again. I said, you agreed that no, they don't get hurt, no one gets sting, right, and all that. And I'm thinking, well, I'm saying this, but they could probably wipe me out. I don't know what's outside in the door. Do you know what I mean? So like we sat all in a row on these chairs that were there. And they all had to drink and make this cocktail. It was a drug. It's a truth serum.
I know. There's a fancy name for it. Yeah.
And so then we sit like wait for about 10, 15 minutes, whatever, to work. You can imagine, can't you, the atmosphere in there? And they're all sitting there like these Turks, and then I'm like thinking like that, and I keep looking over to the towel thing and thinking, I thought, don't make it obvious, because it's just like I just didn't know what was going to happen, honestly. And there was me and me partner at the time, anyway. So then we started questioning about this heroin that it was all down to heroin when we missed it. The big, massive big parcel at the time. I think it was street value of about 10 million quid, which is a lot of fucking money. I never knew nothing about it, and I don't know why they got involved. Anyway, I questioned them, and they all said they didn't know nothing about it. They didn't know and all that. And then I said I allowed them to questions, and so they couldn't lie. But they were like a couple of them was crying and fucking getting a little bit thingy, you know. And which is their child to do. It doesn't make them less a man, because at the end of the day, this is their lives. Right? Yeah. And I had to, you know, listen. I said, when we come out of here, if you have lied or you've done it, I have to walk away. I've done the thing that I've got to walk away, turn my back on you, and you know, whatever happens, happens. And then so we done it. I don't think they were too happy. They had to go back to the top man and speak to him, and because obviously they all denied it, and they all begged him, literally begged and said it weren't them, the main ones that they said it was. And then I thought, well, I've got, you know, they've done it so many times. Even I questioned them in the kitchen in my own house and fucking put it on them. And I said, if you're lying to me, I'll do you, you know. It's as simple as that. Because I'll put my neck on the line, and you know, you're in my house, and I had your wife and kids staying at my house, and put my family at risk for yous, because you've anyway. That would happen, and I remember they went, and then we drove away, and then the phone went, and there was two brothers, and they went, you've got to hand him over, the one that they wanted. I'm not going to mention names because we changed them. And I said, and his wife and kids were at my house, and we're driving back to my house, and I went. He said, bring him to us now. I went, go fuck yourselves. I said, right. I went, what? They went, what? You can't do that now. I went, go fuck yourself. And I tooled up with all the thing. I went, come anywhere near me. And I said, I'll come and do you, you know. And then I got back, made a phone call, and they was at the snooker hall, the one my mate owned, and they were waiting there. Like, they'd gone there. But I took him away to get him away to his wife and kids and say, go, right? I said, they want you. They still got 24 hours. So I went, I said, are they there? And he went, yeah. He said, there's loads of people down there, a lot of our lot and a few of them. I said, keep them there. I said, I'm coming back down there. I said, shut the doors and lock it all up. I'm going to give it to them like that. And he went, don't do that. It's all going to go wrong. He said, like, fucking calm down. I went, I ain't having women and children threatened. And that's how it was. And they took me out of it, and they went, don't, please, you know, like, and I just like calm. But it was like, it was just so my head was like that. And, you know, and I thought, yeah, if I do that, I'm going to probably get killed, my kids and family, and more people are going to get hurt. And it was just like it was like a movie scene, but I'd never been involved in, you know. And I just didn't know how to deal with it. And then, a few days later, like within a week, I said, look, go. His missus was saying, I mean, take your kids, your missus, go. I said, I don't even want to know where you are. I said, because if I don't know where you are, I can't give you up. I said, just fuck off. I said, wherever you do, go. They all went, and then within, I think, a week, they all got kidnapped. They were tortured. They said they were to take them to a flat, hoods stripped off, four of them in a room. And then they come in, put cigarettes out on them, bags, cattle things. One of them, the one they did thing, that he had their Bowie knife, they just put it straight through his leg, come out the other side. They were there for, I think, 3 to 4 nights. They literally tortured them. None of them said they had it or knew, which we found out later it weren't them. And then one of them was a brother. He hung himself. He couldn't handle it anymore. Well, when he was released, he went back and he killed himself. Yeah.
Which you can understand why, to be fair. Like, there's not many men that could take that.
And the others weren't right. I mean, the one I knew fucking took him weeks, and he's still limping, and he was telling me stuff. But it saved their lives, even though because of the torture and everything. And it weren't them. It was someone outside. It was someone outside the circle.
It's insane.
So,
was it that moment, or was it another moment that kind of where you were like, maybe it's time to get out of the life? Was there a particular moment for you?
It's when you're doing things, the scary thing is your partner and your young children. One was a baby, one was like 3 or 4, and you've got to go out. They'll go out, man. And when I leave the house and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, they're vulnerable, and a lot of people are cowards. They won't come face to face with you because my character won't let me back down. I'm one of them people, but they will come to your house. They'll sit outside. They'll phone you. Won't tell you who they are. So they'll know you're somewhere and go, right, we're outside your house. We're going to come in here and we're going to kill your missus and do this and do that to them. And I mean, dogs. It's like, and you can't tell them, your partner, because it's too dangerous. You're not allowed, and it's not fair on them.
Yeah.
And that when that started happening in my life, I'd never experienced all that before, and like all this thing with wives and children and photos and stuff like that. And then I really realised, I thought, do you know what? This is bollocks. And I was getting to the stage where it weren't fun anymore. It weren't a game. It was like when I started off, it was like, yeah, fucking, Jack the Lad or whatever. It becomes serious, and then obviously by the time we got to Tony and what happened with him, that was it. When I was frightened, I wasn't frightened about who killed him or whatever. It was the scenarios, the things that I was doing, and within sort of like a couple of years, like 4 or 5 mates have died, including Tony. Others have been shot around me, and people are now dying.
Yeah,
over drug deals, money, whatever they were doing, and it was like young men, fit men with families were getting shot on their doorsteps and killed, and I'm just sat back and I thought, you know what? When's it going to be me?
Yeah.
Not even that I'd have done something bad, but because who I am and what I was doing is when's it my turn? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was dealing with the people's families and people coming to me for like how to say, like, what do? We want revenge, and it wasn't as easy as that, because you can't tell them families and the kids, but they that's what they were involved in. That was their choice.
Yeah. I would imagine it's got to be a bit like soldiers going to war, because you're so trying to come home to your family. It's quite hard to make that switch, I'd imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think like with soldiers and families, and listen, losing loved ones never easy anyway.
Yeah.
But when you go to war, you're going to war to fight. When you're involved in the underworld, your missus thinks you're just going out to be like duck and dive and get money. It's like some people are very aware if you're living in a household full of guns and they've seen violence and witnessed it. But most good, decent people will keep their family and not let them witness it and not let them see things that they shouldn't see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In terms
of
I think, sorry,
the brutality of it's more because they've been protected, if you know what I mean. Which is like I said.
Yeah, that's it. I can't imagine exactly. That's the word. Is the aftermath. I can't imagine having that switch, going home to try and have somewhat of a normal life. With your life now, is there something like? Do you have any aspirations now you want to do? Is there any big goals you're trying to set yourself, or are you just happy to chill and enjoy life?
I would. I'm trying. I spoke to my daughters and things, the oldest, and I'm trying to be a better father, because I wasn't a good father, because I thought giving them stuff they want, like holidays, nice things, everything else, would, that would be all right, because for me not being in their life. And don't forget, I'd be going out 7, 8 o'clock at night and coming in 7, 8 o'clock the next day or the following day, working big rave club, doing what I'm doing, or going missing, whatever. They're just getting up and going out. And broken relationships due to my lifestyle and everything. So they never really got. I wasn't a conventional dad. I went walking, taking them to the park and doing things, but I would take them good holidays abroad and do stuff with them then when the time was there. But really, all they ever wanted was their dad, like everyday normal dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Come home.
sense.
Yeah. So what I try to do now is, because I've got my grandchildren, is be a conventional granddad. I don't want to be an unconventional granddad like I was an unconventional father. And they accept it. They said, listen, Dad, you're not a conventional father, but you're a loving dad. You've always loved us, kissed us, cuddled us, been there when we need you. So that guilt I can sort of carry. But if I can, if then I look at, because as I get older and getting grey, I look and I think, I want my grandkids to go, I want to go see granddad. And I'm granddad sitting in there and telling them stories, sitting on my lap and looking after them and all that, Obviously not the drug deal and everything else.
Let me tell you about a drug deal I did once.
About people.
Yeah, well, I think to be fair, it takes a lot for you to say that, to say it, to like, not many guys would like to admit that maybe they weren't there when they should have been. But so the fact you recognize that says a lot about you as well, But it's a nice goal and a nice dream to have, I'm sure, as well, with how crazy your life has been. It's nice to just take it back.
And obviously the goal is, not to get involved back down that slippery road. Every now and again I have to visit things and do things because people ring you. And the nature of the beast is that if someone asks for help and it's an old friend and something, I have to help them. I can't help it. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And that is my downfall. My kindness is my weakness with that sorts of thing. But just to, just walk on my daughters down the aisles, if I can see them get married and their kids and everything, and just have the love that my daughters gave my dad, like their granddad. Yeah. If I had the same love, because seeing my daughters like how they were, and I think, well, that's what I want my grandchildren to be like they were with my dad when he was alive.
Yeah.
Listen. You don't need to be a millionaire to have wealth. Exactly. Wealth is love and family, and it's nice to have nice things. It's nice to be able to sit out, go and have eat, and sit in the sunshine with all your kids. I have to come out here, but I'm on my own, and they're all in England, and it's not happiness. It's what it is. It's just the way the life is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I'm safer when I'm abroad than I am in England. Yeah, that's what I'm sort of saying.
Now that makes a lot of sense. But it's good. Again, it's good you recognise that. Look, a lot of people can spend so long chasing fucking money that their whole life passes them by, and they realise that they were a lot richer than they realised.
Too late.
Yeah, exactly. Which is not a nice thing.
If your skin, and it's 20 years later, your skin, fucking hell, accept it. That's what you are going to be for skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just book a cheaper holiday, book a cheaper destination.
I'll be going like, come on, mate, it's time to call it a day. Let me take down the bum, buy you a pint, and give you a tenner.
That's it, mate. You can be just as happy in a fucking cheap, shitty pub as you can be in another fancy one,
Yeah, of course you can.
I know for me anyway, and I'm far from rich. I hope that someday I have a little money that I can look after myself. But at the same time, my happiest times are when I'm in a shithole pub with my old mates. We're buying cheap beer that tastes like piss.
Yeah.
That's it.
Listen, it's your company. The best drug you can have is company. The people you're with, and you all have a crack, because you don't know, like you said, it could be a shithole pub, or it could be wherever. It could be on the beach, it could be in the park. If you've got the right crowd, and you're all laughing and banter and having a giggle, and at the end of the day, that's the best drug you can have. Laughter and just like, a bit pissed and whatever, Yeah.
Listen, that's what I found when I came over here. Like, what it's like. It's the same with the English. That everyone wants to travel and make money elsewhere. And don't get me wrong, Auckland and New Zealand and all that, there's plenty of opportunity here. But I'd rather be less off back home. And you realise that when you can't go home because of these lockdowns, it's not the same. And I've one of my brothers is out here, and he's in my ear all the time saying, "What are you going home for? That's just stupid." But for me, I'm a home bird. He's the opposite. He loves it out here. It's just different people.
Yeah.
But
yeah, of course. It's courses, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. The other thing, is it still difficult for you to spend time in England because of your past?
No. I didn't mean is me being out here where I am, in this part of Spain. I'm not in the Malagas, the Port Banús, all the touristy ones where all the ex gangsters and all living a lifestyle. I'm in normality.
Yeah.
I can't have that. So by being here, I'm just like Mr. Leach going into a restaurant with the missus, and me and Jim can go and have something to eat. We've got normal friends. You know, one's a builder, one does rentals, and we're just in that crowd, and it's just a bit of normality, and we can be normal. Whereas it's a lot harder to do that in England. Apart from when we family, it's just like that. But you might, you'd be sitting in the pub and we go and have something to eat, and someone in the pub go, "All right, Cole, let's have a picture." And you're sitting there with your kids and grandchildren, and I get that. And then they want to talk. "Oh, do you want a drink? Well, do you want a bit of thing?" No, I'm fucking with the kids. Like, I want to have a bit of food. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to have a fucking dinner.
that happens quite a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Jem says, we could be fucking like abroad anywhere, and all of a sudden someone comes up and recognises her. Been at airports, but then again, you can't knock that because I chose to do that lifestyle. So what I'm saying to you is, for me to relax, the normality is to be. I've got a woman want to be in a touristy bit. I'm in a Spanish holiday resort where it's all that. So who I am, and I go, well, I drink all that, have a coffee, and
Yeah. No, it's nice because at the same time, I'm sure for you, meeting new people, you're not too sure. Like when you're elsewhere, you're not too sure whether people want to really get to know you, or is it because of your name that they're just speaking to you?
Yeah. Most of the time, it's because of
because of the name. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to keep you too much longer because I don't like to keep people too long when I know you've got stuff to do.
No, you're welcome. Do you want a couple more questions for you?
Yeah.
She says, "Look, I've got a job." I'm just thinking, I could do a paper round.
I'm jealous of you chilling out over in Spain. The other day, I suppose it's you kind of answer this question, but do you get a lot of the kind of guys trying to throw it on you because you're Carlton Leach and because to be fair, I know you're that bit older, but you're still in shape. I've seen your pictures.
Yeah.
You're not an out of shape guy, like, you know what I mean. You're still quite in shape. You can tell. So. But to be fair, you were like so. I'm sure.
But you know what? I'm going to answer that question. The reason why, right? The reason I've always stayed in shape as I got older, people think like you Peter Pan or whatever because you look good. That's my survival because in the day I always thought as you got then you get older, the youngers come along, they want to have a digger. But I'm quite fortunate. I'm a good people person. I know how to treat people. Like, I respect you. I would never take the piss out of you. Now, you can ring me up whenever you want. Go, hello, mate. What are you up to? I'll be. You get a beer, and I'm sure we'll have a beer and have a crack. You know what I mean? But certain people who you are. But so what I'm saying is, I've always tried to stay on top of my game, stay fit, stay aware, because there is younger people out there who don't even know me, what sort of person. But what it is, I go for the crazy boys, youngsters, and take them under my wing, and I befriend them. Yes, I'm clever, but when they've not had love or respect of someone, and they're just out and out lunatics, all they want is someone to put an arm around them, give them a bit of time. And if someone's got a name, they do that, they will carry your name. This is what I've learned. I mean, they'll go out and go like, "See, what's he think he's going?" Do you know what? He's a really nice man. He's proper. He's like that. Goes away, and then people are on your side. It's like, so yes, I've always trained, always as best I can. But as I got older, illnesses like I'm diabetic now and all that, and what I've done to my body over years with steroids and shit. But you have to still be pretty much in shape because people expect that. If I was walked in a big blob and like slob and all that and going, get rid of that, I want the VIP and all that. People would go, look at that. They think you're pathetic.
Yeah.
I would think that person was pathetic if they carried it like that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. So, but in terms of keeping fit, what do you do nowadays? You still lifting like crazy and stuff like that?
Jim's a PT, personal trainer. So that's how we met at the gym a few years ago. But yeah, we've got a little gym here in the back room. We train, walking. But I'm just in the mode with this lockdown. I'm really struggling to motivate.
Yeah,
honestly, it's like Groundhog Day, and it's driving me insane. when we get back to England, we will go back in April. I'm hoping, like, because the gyms will be back home, I'll win it, and then when we train again, we go like 4 or 5 times a week, and then I'll get myself back into shape again. You know,
Yeah. No,
just put me on the diet. I've lost about just over half a stone, which I'm happy with. I'm knocking the drinking more down because when you drink, you get bloating and all that, and she's always trying to make me eat healthy and everything. So,
it's not easy, man. It's not easy.
I like fire chips, gravy.
Yeah, me too.
Happy Irish stew. I love an Irish stew.
That's my problem.
Irish woman can make an Irish stew. That's one thing I've learned. You've got to be a proper Irish, because to make a real good one.
A real proper one. I've seen people try and do it, and it's not the same. You know, when they're outside of Ireland, it's not the same.
When you go, like, yeah. I mean, I've cut the video. There's quite a lot of Irish here. So old couples we've got friendly with. And she said, "Oh, I'll come over to yours." And she said, "She invited over to." She bought a little finger they did, and she said, "What do you want to eat?" I went, "Please do me an Irish stew." Got there, and there it was in a big pot. Yeah. 3 bowls later, I was happy.
Well, that's the best, and the best thing about it, you could eat it in the morning as well. You could probably eat it 2 days later. You know, it stays. Yeah. It's lovely in the pot. That's what I'm missing out here is the Irish. You know, the Irish food, even the Irish takeaways. Yeah. Like, I don't eat any takeaways out here at all.
Good Irish breakfast as well. Bit of white pudding.
Can't wait. can't get any of it out here. It's driving me crazy. We'll get home eventually. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Again, you mentioned that there, but do you find yourself a lot kind of taking on that role of trying to guide younger guys in a different direction to maybe the way you went?
Yeah, we just had a friend come. Well, got friends with him. He's only 27. He's Carlton Leach. He's from Dublin. He's living out here now, and he contacted, come down, had a meal and that, and then we got him booked in an apartment. He come down for 5 days, and it was just he's lost his parents and chatting, and it was just I get great pleasure out of like doing that. Yeah. I don't know whether it's not a guilt thing, whether it's me. Sometimes I can. And the reason I survived and never nothing, I wasn't killed or didn't die. And when there's times I've been shot at and different things, and I think maybe there is a reason. Perhaps is this my reason to help other people and be there for other people and give them a bit of support, so they don't make mistakes.
I asked that because to be honest, you seem, obviously you've been involved in the life and experience helps. But you do seem like that kind of person who could be a good person to talk to in terms of maybe don't go down this road, or maybe it's not. Yeah, right, you know what I mean. You seem to be a good person to talk to about that.
I've done talks in universities, gun things, violence, gang things. Travelled the country. I've done things, and youngsters and all that. And they, they're in awe because they've all seen the film. We all keep going. No, I said, listen, don't go down that road. The worst thing I did was take drugs. Get involved in cocaine and doing it. All the money and steroids. They give me 6 months to live. I had to take so many steroids and so many drugs. I had a heart of a 64-year-old, and that was 30 odd years ago. Wow. And I was walking around with a canister like that, a big canister, pissing in it. And I had to have blood tests every 2 weeks. So and they give me 6 months to live, and I turned it around, but that's because of the will to live. And I thought, the only person who can kill me is me by my stupidity. Yeah. And I think that's like a lot of people. And I say to people, I said, it's not other people who are going to kill you. I said, you're going to kill you by the mistakes you do and the situations you put yourself in. I said, it's you who will kill yourself, and by your drug taking or the abuse of the stuff you do,
Yeah, it's not like we've all, even I myself, I dabbled in that party lifestyle, but I look back now and I don't ever want to go near it again. I still have my few beers and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the heavier stuff, I could never touch it again. It's just, it's too risky, too dangerous.
Well, and that's another reason me being out here, because of who I am and I'm about people. When I'm out here, I don't really think about it. When I'm in England, it's in my face. Not right, my nose on my face, but it's there. No, because it's the first thing you do. You walk in somewhere. I mean, you're a crowd, it's a party, or wherever you are. Oh, do you want a big here? Like, it's the first thing that comes out of their mouth. How's your week been? What have you been up to? What did you do today? That's nothing. Oh, do you want a big here? Fucking like that. It's the only thing they know how to say now.
It's usually about 5 or 6 questions in, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Listen, the last,
that's it's the nature of the beast, and that's what we do, and it is what it is. You know what I mean?
in terms, I shouldn't really say this, but for me anyway, it's good. It was good that I feel it's good. You've done it. Obviously, if you've survived treating your body like shit for a while, you learn from it and you grow from it, and you realize that you don't want to do that anymore. But at the same time, it's best to avoid it because not everybody gets lucky enough. It's a roll of the dice, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the last thing I wanted to ask you before I let you go is, obviously after all the crazy things you've done, partying, the fights and stuff like that, are you carrying much injuries and things like that, or how is your body? As like I said, you're obviously in shape.
I am falling to bits, mate. but I only put this podcast out to people that like me. Aches, pains. I've had a knee replacement. I've got another knee replacement coming. Joints. It's a years away. So martial arts and football and everything. They take your joints, like your knees, and just take it out. Even your knuckles. You know, when you're fighting all the time and everything, you start getting it. Your knuckles hurt, your hands, don't they? Even in your fingers, like winter time and that. If you eat healthy, take your vitamins, and and supplements, good supplements, and they help you, But it's just life. Listen. You get a brand new car. If you're driving that car around 15 years later and the things ain't falling off it, wing mirrors, it's got rust on it and everything, it's the same as the human body. You have a few little dings in it, a few bang ups, and then you look at a car 20 years down the line that hasn't been fully serviced, right? You think, fucking hell, what are you doing that rust bucket? That's what they say to the missus about me.
Yeah, fuck. Well, that's it. But it's to be fair, considering all the shit you did, you're not too bad, really. Like,
nah, I'll try.
Yeah, you're still hanging in there. I'll ask one more question. Do you still go to the West Ham games? Obviously not right now, but when they're open up.
Nah, obviously Upton Park, because of my son and that, Carl. And I love taking him to football. Like, he's nothing better than going. Even my daughter, my youngest daughter, like Maddie, she's come for West Ham as well because we had the box over. I miss Upton Park. The London Stadium, I find it very hard to call home because I started taking him to West Ham, lived down the road from the age of 6, and obviously, when it was the last home game. But I've been over there a couple of times, but I struggle because West Ham was like home for me. I could walk in the ground. I knew the chairman, the people that run the ground, and walk in. And obviously, being a bit of celebrity, I could walk through and do what I want to do. And everyone knew me, but in a nice way. And I'd sit in the seats, and I could go, "Hello, John, Dave." I could speak. My son would go, I could say hello to 500 to 1,000 people in one day. Not because of the film, because of football. Because we love it. And I miss that. It's just like and having a beer on a Saturday afternoon and a pie and mash. And all the mates, my old mates that I grew up with, like the football mates, just like who don't expect nothing of her. And I still know them now, 50 odd years, 40 odd years, some of them. Do you know what I mean? And they're still there, still going. They've all got their hair missing, teeth missing, everything. I spent too much fucking money getting them put back in. I've been talking to my boy lately, and I just said to him, I said, "Do you know what I'm missing? It's been a year. Like we've been out here the last 2 years. We missed the birthdays, the kids, and everything." And I said, "I can't wait for it to drop and me and him go to a football match on our own with couples." Yeah, brilliant.
Nah, there's nothing like it.
And have a good. And I've not really he's been such a good boy, but he's not really been a drinker. But now he has a drink and goes out, and he's found that way. And I just said, I said, "I've never been drunk with you yet, boy." I said, "We've got to have a little drink up, haven't we? Like go to a game and get pissed or something." Do you know, like father and son come away and win? Yeah.
Nah, it is. They're the important things in life. You could bring them out you still meet up with your old ICF mates. Yeah.
Some of them, some of them ain't changed. They're still in the time zone, like still the way it was and everything. But I walked away from football. Like that was where I learned all the violence, and that was me violent times. Not even like we just liked fighting other fans who liked fighting us. It was just one of them things. So I don't know. It's just a warrior thing. It was just like, you know, I just think if you're a proper man like you've done MMA fight and all that. There's nothing better in there than having a good ruck and coming out and walking out with your head held high. You've had a few little digs, but when you've won that fight, there's no better feeling in the world, is there?
I've explained to people, stepping in the cage is, if it was a drug, I'd never give it up. Put it that way.
No,
I wouldn't care what it did to my body. That feeling is something even to explain it to you, I can't explain the feeling.
And the hardest thing as well is like getting off that drug is not being able to fight anymore when you get too old and you start losing.
Well, look,
it and
I've had one fight and I've been injured since my very first fight. I haven't been able to go back in, and I am fucking chewing at the bit to get one more crack at it again. Just an old injury that's been coming up, but yeah, I really, if I could just get one more.
Go in there. It does make you less a man, you know, but you've got that ability. But if you go in there and that injury, if it goes, what injury is it? Shoulder?
It's actually a neck. It's an issue with a disc in my neck, so it's something I can't fuck around with.
You could be crippled for the rest of your life.
Well, that's the problem. You see, I gotta until I'm speaking with a specialist. Until I get the all clear, I'm not going to do it. I'll be involved in the sport. There's a friend of mine, a guy I'm involved.
Still do the training. Still do the training.
Exactly. Listen, if I can be involved in the sport, I'm happy enough to do that. But I'm trying to tell all my mates back home who are, no injuries.
Well, let's have a deal. If you do come out of retirement and you're all right and I'm about, I'll walk you out. How's that?
Oh man, that'd be an honor, definitely. Oh, that sounds good to me.
High five.
High five on that one, definitely, yeah.
Well, where's my hand?
I know I can't see it myself, but definitely not. Geez, that'd be an honor. I'll hold you to that one. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, we stay in touch. Just ring me whenever. When you get back, let me know. I mean, we'll be back in England the end of April anyway. So, but listen, be safe. And good talking to you. Yeah.
Listen, I definitely will be back in Ireland, hopefully this year at some point. And absolutely, I would love to meet up for a beer, meet up for a football match. Maybe I'll be over in England sometime. Yeah. I'm not just saying this because you're here, but this has been one of my favorite interviews so far. I've really enjoyed it.
Brilliant. It's been a good one. Listen, but I'm just from the art. I'll just tell you now, I've actually had the chance to speak. So I feel comfortable about stuff that I don't normally, that I want to speak about, but they don't ask me. Yeah. It's pretty, but yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I hope it's a success for you.
Well, I appreciate it. Listen, when people like you are willing to come on and have a conversation, listen, I appreciate it, Carlton. I hope to speak to you again sometime. And we'll definitely have that beer, yeah?
Yeah.
Listen,
God bless.
Take care. I appreciate it. Take care, brother. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Stay safe. Mate.